Good morning, everyone, and welcome to MVP Day Israel 2020. My name is Avichai Hajjaj. I'm CTO at Cloud Edge and Microsoft Azure MVP. And today we have an amazing event with 5 tracks around Azure, GitHub, DevOps, AI, and more. I'm leading the Azure DevOps, the DevOps track. And for the first session, please welcome Diego Costa, a cloud architect, advisor, and Microsoft Azure MVP from Portugal. Hi, Diego. Welcome to MVP Day Israel, and thank you for joining us.
Hi, it's a pleasure to be here today and to be able to talk to this amazing community that you guys have there in Israel. Unfortunately, not in person. I would love to go there maybe next year. Okay.
Great. So I think it's time to start. So Diego, the stage is yours. Please get forward to start the session.
Yeah. Okay. Of course. Can you see my screen too? Correct. You have my screen there too, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So welcome everyone. Okay. So it is a great pleasure to be here today. I'm going to deliver a session which is about how can you arm your Azure infrastructure in just 30 minutes. Okay, so I usually like to start with just this phrase here that I got there. That is, if having coffee in the morning doesn't wake you up, okay, if this doesn't work for you, try to delete the production resource group. Believe me, that will definitely wake you up, okay? And I kind of adapt a meme that you can find on the internet around production tables on a database, etc. with this, but this just happened to me a couple of years ago. A customer that, well, they didn't have locks on that, and they just messed up basically. Okay, and that really wakes you up in the morning. Believe me, trust me, it works. Okay. So doing a short presentation about myself. So my name is Diego Costa. I work as a cloud architect and advisor. I'm an Azure MVP. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer, also MCT regional lead, and you have all my contacts in here. So if you want to reach out, just please do. If you want to follow me on Twitter, that's the last one, Diego Costa PT. Please do. I'm always sharing stuff around Azure, so I will more than welcome you to my network. What is the agenda for today? So we're going to talk about why Azure, and I have just like very tiny presentation on why Azure. Usually I give a little bit more context on this, but because we only have 30 minutes, I had to basically remove some of the bits here. Then we're going to talk about what is the challenge that I had with some customers that lead me to create this short presentation. And then infrastructure as code, ARM templates, CI/CD with ARM templates. So that's the agenda for today. And then we are going to get started. Why Azure? Okay, so Azure today corresponds to 63 regions, and I just add the plus there so that this way this slide is always up to date. Okay, because Microsoft is always announcing new regions, so it is quite hard to keep track and all the regions that they announce and basically being up to date with all of this. We also have more than 160,000 miles of fiber and subsea cable. And even if you don't have an Azure region within your country, near your city, etc., you always have what you always have, because we have 170 edge sites. So big cities, you're always going to have one edge site over there. And yeah, I could show you the map here, so that I just want to show the map to explain, see the global distribution of this. So the United States, they have a very good coverage. Then we have Europe also with a very nice coverage already. But then we have, well, some other regions that are still not, okay, that well covered. Okay, but eventually, okay, they will get. And we have, like, for example, I bring you this one very special one, right, that you see over there, Israel Central, that was announced a couple of months ago or weeks ago. which I think for you guys it's going to be super important. And that's dotted because it's basically announced only. So that means that it's still not available, but it's going to have availability zones, which is quite nice. Okay, so that I think is a great thing for the local market, so that you can work with Azure more and more, because we know there are some workloads that require the data to be within the country, and yeah, that will be a great achievement for the community there. Then I talk about why Azure, right? So huge demand from customers. I work mainly for Europe and the US. I also work for some Asian countries like Singapore. I have some customers there. And what happens is that what I see is that, well, it's already there. Okay, I have customers that when they say, oh, let's build something, they don't even consider building that for on-prem anymore. They just go, yeah, we just need to go to build this for the cloud, and that's it. And then it is super fun to work with. Believe me, I don't know if some of you probably already work with Azure, others not, but it is quite cool to work with Azure. I'm very fortunate to do exactly what I love to do, and every day is an exciting day. Every day I'm able to do amazing projects, even if I'm doing the same project as I did some weeks ago or some months ago. It's going to be different because, you know, services are new. I have new features on services, so it's always that. So it is quite cool, okay, what we have with all of this. So it is quite interesting, that bit. And then of course, the pay for what you use, right? Well, this is the holy grail for me as a cloud architect, is that the other day I needed to test an AKS when it scaled around 250 nodes. I just did it. Okay, I just went to Azure. Of course, I paid for that. Yeah, for sure. It was still some money, but I was able to test it. If we need to have this amount of nodes, how this will behave. And and then we had some findings. Now we are working with those findings to improve the solution that we had, because, well, stuff, to be honest with you guys, didn't went as the team was expecting. It went more as I was expecting. So now the team is working on tuning up some of the bits that they had there. And of course, look, because of all of this, I just like to say that cloud computing is an awesome career path. So if you're not still there, I'm sure that a lot of people here today, they will say that it is quite cool, and the demand is there. So what is the challenge? So the challenge that I had from a customer was to build something like this. Of course, as you can imagine, I can't bring the diagram of that customer, but let's imagine that it was something like this. Oh, I have an application gateway, then I'm going to have a front end with some stuff, a queue, function app, a red is an Azure cognitive search, some SQL, some Cosmos DB, all of this in the same resource group. Let's just imagine that. And if we want to build this infrastructure for the customer, I look at this and I'm like, okay, so I have here some things that, okay, I can just start to build this with PowerShell. I can start to build this with basically with ARM templates or Terraform or whatever. But I have a bunch of challenges right here. Version control. Because when I deploy this infrastructure, I want to know that that was the version that I deployed. Get it? Because if I have then testing under that, I need to know that, okay, that was the version of the app, so the code, the C# application, or .NET, Python, Java, whatever you're doing, plus with that version of the infrastructure, because the infrastructure might change during the development of the project, right? So we need to understand that. I want to do peer review because, look, I'm me, but for sure, if I have a good colleague, he can also provide me very good feedback on this, and he can even improve my work, and I can improve his work in another project for sure. So I want to add peer review to this. And then the dependencies that I have, like I was talking about, the code and the infrastructure, right? So we need to also work together. And maybe I can do some CI/CD pipelines that we're going to do. Okay, so those are the challenges. So with this, we enter in the phase of, oh, let's just start to work with something that we call infrastructure as code. And well, we can describe infrastructure as code, as a process of managing provision computing infrastructure. It is declarative, okay? So we can just go there and just declare, okay, what we want. That's an option that we have. This leverage version control, so it solves that bit. Oh, version control, got it, done. And also it will lift good DevOps practices, because the thing with this is, if we work with this, like, oh, we have a Git repo, we're putting our code there for creating the infrastructure, then it's easy to implement like continuous delivery. It's easy to create a DevOps process based on that. And then, of course, then there's a bunch of tools that you can work for DevOps that you can even see if you have like security faults on the declarative approach that you have done. And for example, I build a PowerShell script that I run in my customers, try to find those kinds of mistakes. And I'll just tell you one that is pretty obvious is I the other day I run this in a very large corp, and I was expecting some problems for sure, because we always find them, but I was not expecting to find so many of a specific one, which is they had clear text passwords on ARM templates for creating virtual machines, but not one, not two templates, not three, but like literally a lot of them. Okay, and I was like shocked, because I thought that people were not doing that anymore, at least at that level that they already are. Okay, they have tons of stuff in Azure. It's a very known company. They're already being hacked, so they should already have some kind of more careful and more protection and things like that. So, but still, we still find stuff like this there. And if we have a DevOps practice, we have everything there, and we can test everything before we even start to deploy stuff. And for example, this case, if they have that, they need to fix stuff now before they are able to deploy, because we just lock it. We don't allow them not even to push code there if they have stuff like that. So it's pretty cool what we can do with that DevOps practice. Benefits that I have with this: consistency. I build something and it's always going to be the same thing time over and over and over. So that's great. And of course, accelerating our business, because well, in the beginning, it might take a while to create all the templates or whatever you're doing for having infrastructure as code. Yeah, for sure. But after you do that, hey, you just need a new development environment. Oh, okay. Just go to DevOps or whatever you're using. Hey, deploy it over there. Boom, done. And after a few minutes, there you go. You have an infrastructure there. So this is the advantage that I have. I have customers that we do this. So we deploy and smash hundreds of times the environment for them, because they need to test the feature. Oh, let's just go. Let's test the feature. After testing the feature, just kill it. We don't need it there anymore. So we just kill the environment. Okay, so that's the beauty of all of this. The reusability. So you can reuse bits of JSON code, like creating a virtual machine. Hey, this is the way that you create virtual machines for this project. And just create one template. And then you can have others that will call, okay, those templates. So you can basically reuse some of the code that you wrote. And extensibility, because it's JSON, that JSON is extensible, so you can always incorporate additional items, okay? What do I get with this? I get independence. I get to test in production-like environments, because, like I said, the development environment, I just wanted to test a feature. It's like exactly the same as I have in production, or at least a version that I have for that. So it's quite done, and it's very similar to production. Simplify rollback. So you can always have like rollback plans, because you always have the template or the version of the code for the infrastructure that you had in the previous generation, in the previous version. So you can always go there and deploy that. Get it? So it's you don't even need to back up stuff, because you can just redeploy things again. And of course, provision multiple environments with this. So I'm already talking about ARM templates, but I have ARM templates with different parameters files. And basically, it's the same template, multi-parameter files, and very easily I can just say, oh, what's the template? What's the version? Oh, dev. Oh, it's UAT. Oh, it's production. Okay, I will call the production parameter file. And well, we can do this time over and over and over. You can also practice the deployments for sure. And the last one for me, it's one that is very, very important, is that you're continuously delivering stable environments. Because look, it's already been tested. So when you deploy this, yeah, it's going to be that. It's not going to be something that is slightly different, you know. So with this, we talk about ARM templates. And we already saw, okay, ARM templates is the native Azure infrastructure as code solution that that we have. It works with IaaS, it works with PaaS, serverless. So all of that is possible to do that. I can group resources together in an ARM template and just deploy them all at the same time. I can deploy, update, delete new resources in a single operation. And the thing that I already talked about, one template with different parameter files, then I can have many environments. And I can even have like if statements inside my inside my templates that will affect like, like dev environment, number of nodes, just 2, it's enough. Production, number of nodes, I have to have 20. And it's the same template, but then we'll have a if a parameter call environment equals to dev, the number of nodes is 2. If it's production, it's equals to 20. So things like this that we can do. So benefits: deploy all this in group, repeatedly deploy your solution. The declarative templates, because they're JSON files, right? So I can just use that. I can apply access control. I can tag stuff right at the creation phase with this. So it's quite cool, the stuff that I can do with this. But so let's see what is a template. So this is the format, the schema of a template. I have a schema, I have a content version, parameters, variables, functions, resources, and outputs. This is a collection of key value pairs. Then inside, like for example, parameters or templates. So it's always that. And so a key is always a string. And then the values can be a string, can be a number, a Boolean, or a list of values. Okay, so that will depend. Not going to show you today this, but you also can check the quick start templates. So this is a GitHub repo that have literally hundreds, okay, of templates there that you can just go there. Oh, I want to create a virtual machine. Yeah, there you go. There's one that's called 101-simple VM or VM simple Windows or something like that. Just go there, check it. It's already done for you. You can reuse them. They're open source, so that's for you guys to use in your companies, in your trainings, whatever you're doing. This is the template parameter file. So this will be parameters, and you have a parameter, okay, type, then metadata, description, etc. And you can define the parameters. Here, I have a parameter for an admin username and for an admin password, where you see secure string over there. What about tools that I usually use to do all my work? So usually I do all of this in code, Visual Studio Code, okay? And I use Git so that I can basically source save my code. I use Azure DevOps. And then, of course, I can also use PowerShell, CLI, the portal, if I want to do some other stuff. So let's do a demo now. Let's create and deploy a simple ARM template, okay? So you're probably already seeing my screen here. So I already have this project here. I have like a bunch of demos here, and I have this ARM template. It's already kind of already built here. So let me just put here like create a new file here. It's going to be an Azure deploy.json, and I already have a great extension, which is basically to build a resource ARM templates. Okay, and I can just do this. Yeah, there you go. Bam! I have my I have here my basically my schema all done for me, and then I can go to resources, and I can just look at here and ARM, and I see a bunch of resources here. I want the storage account, and then ta-da! There you go. We have a storage, okay, a storage account. Then I can go to parameters, okay, and I can do the same thing. So new parameter, and I can, for example, say here storage, okay, account type, okay, and then it will do this. It will be type string. Then I want to add here a default value, okay, and the default value will be something like this, and then let's just say standard, okay, underscore local redundant storage, and then I can also do here something like allowed values, okay, and my allowed values will be an array. I need a comma in here, and in here, oops, I need to add here a value. I need to add another value, and I can even add another value, okay? So and then in here, I can do, let's just say standard, okay, standard, and let's just say ZRS, okay, and GRS, and then this one here, let's just say premium, okay? So there are just options that you can have. This is my basically my when I end my storage account type parameter, I can do comma, and I could just do here a new parameter. This new parameter can be called location, okay, and again I could just have here default value, and my default value will be like West Europe, okay, and of course I could add allowed values and things like that. I don't want, and I just want a last one, which is here. I'll just call this environment, and this one here, I'll just say again, okay, default value, I will just call dev, okay, and then you can say here, let me just copy this one, okay, the allowed values, and of course I just need to replace this with dev, okay, I don't know, UAT and production, okay. So maybe we can do something like this, and let's just put here local redundant storage, because this will not work. So there you go. So I can do this. I can also create variables here. So I can just go there, create a new variable, okay, and like storage account name, and then under the value, okay, I can call functions like concat, okay, and now I want to concat like store, and then I can just say here parameters, and I can call the parameters like environment, okay, and then I can do a comma, and I can do unique string, okay, and under the unique string, I can, well, where is my mouse? I can call resource group, okay, dot ID, okay, or I'm sorry, I'm missing here something. There you go. Resource group dot ID. So there you go. And now, of course, here, look, I can replace this. I don't want that storage account name here. What I want is variables, and I can just say storage account name. This here, I don't want this. I want what? Parameters. Oops. Parameters, and then I can say, what is this? The storage account type, okay, and things like that. So location, I also don't want this. I want, oops, parameters, and I can just call here the parameter called location. There you go. As you can see, I just built a template like in no time with the help of Visual Studio Code, of course. And then I already have here, look, it's already done. It's basically a piece of PowerShell that if I just run this, okay, this will just deploy that that template. Okay, so I have like some problems here. Yeah, I don't have any, sorry, I can't do this bit here. I can only do this. Okay, because I don't have a parameters file for this. This parameters file doesn't exist. Okay, but I can just do this. Bam, done. It's being deployed. And now, because we are in time concerns here, so let me just go here and let me just talk about infrastructure as code, CI, CD. And I just have one slide, and I will go back to the final demo. It's awesome to integrate this, right, with a Git repo. Now they basically create a Git repo. I'll push the code to like Azure DevOps, GitHub, whatever you feel that you want to use, because then I have big advantages with this, which is what? Automate deployments. So I can just say every day deploy this, or you can just say every time that someone pushes new code there, bam, this is going to be redeployed again. So you get a fresh infrastructure every time that you deploy something new. That's quite cool. And then I always usually say something to people that sometimes people get a little bit shocked about this, but it's the truth. Treat your infrastructure as cattle, not as a pet. Okay? When you do that, it's like with cattle, you just don't care. You don't like it. You don't want it. It's not working well for you, that infrastructure. Just kill it. Okay? And sometimes people don't do that. They treat their infrastructure like pets, right? You know, they're just like, oh, no, we can't touch here. We're trying to fix this or that. And you're like always trying to fix it. No, just you're losing time. Time is money. And your competitors, they were not going to lose time. Just kill that damn thing and just get a new one. Okay? And if you have this from the beginning, and if you work like this from the beginning, it's great. Okay? You just don't need to wait for anything. Okay? So also when you're working with infrastructure as a service, if you're always redeploying virtual machines, you're always getting fresh images. So you literally might even think about having an infrastructure as a service stuff that you don't even patch, because you always get new images and fresh images. That doesn't work for all the workloads, I know, but if it works, hey, it's great. Awesome. Let's just do that. So let's do another demo now, which is basically create an ARM template, okay? But the same ARM template, but now work with this, okay, with Azure pipelines in Azure DevOps, okay? So let's just go here to the main screen. And so this is already deployed, okay, see? And we should have in Azure basically a resource group called AZ Demo ARM template. So if we move here and we refresh this, yeah, 16, AZ Demo ARM template. And as you can see, okay, there you go. I have here basically a stored dev. So basically, see, this is the what I said. This is the development environment, because it was the default value that we had there, and then some gibberish. And if you click here, you can see that this is local redundant storage, because that was what we had there. Okay, cool. So this is pretty cool. It works pretty well. So this was the finishing the last demo. What about the new demo? This is ARM templates. I have here already in the repos, already have the ARM template here. Again, we don't have time to create all this in 30 minutes, okay? So I already have here, already have this, and I already had created a pipeline, okay? And as you can see here, the pipeline, okay? I can just say run the pipeline for now. Yeah, run, so that this will just start to run. And then you can see this in here. And look, the pipeline, if we go here to the pipeline, and this pipeline, and we click edit, so you see what I'm doing here in the pipeline. And I'm using YAML files. So I'm using pipelines as code, and that file also lives in the repo. So it's great, because if you change this, it will be recorded here in the repo that you have changed. So if you start to have problems, you can see and you can work it out. And basically what I'm doing here, okay, is I'm basically using this connection that I already had established on Azure DevOps in order to deploy the stuff. And this is the demo RG, is the name of the resource group where stuff is going to be deployed. Don't know if this already finished, but let's just see here. I still don't have anything here. So let's go to pipelines again. Yeah, it's still running. Let's just see. Usually this takes like 40 seconds, okay, to do, but let's just see this here. Yeah, it's already done. Okay. So let's just see if we have something here new. We have demo RG. Ta-da! And yeah, it's still usually the Azure portal takes a while, okay, to show stuff in here. Usually takes like a few seconds. There you go. Okay. Now you can see here again. Okay. Store dev. This is the same template as I built. Okay. I already had built it, so it is pretty. I'm not sure if it's exactly the same, but it does the same thing. Okay. It's pretty similar. And you see here, okay, this being built by that template. Okay. So it was pretty easy, okay, to do this. So this was a good, I think, introduction in just 30 minutes on why we should do this and how can we do this. And I just used here some tools, okay, for you to do this. So thank you very much. Okay, it was a great pleasure to be here today. So my name is Tiago Costa, and this is how you arm, okay, your Azure infrastructure. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Diego. It's really awesome to see that everything we can do automated, and all the workflow and the same deployment can be run on different environments. So it's very great to see that everything can be defined using as code. So
Yeah.
Thank you for the session, and for all the audience, we have a break, and join us to see the next session. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, guys. It was a big pleasure to be here today.